Hello and welcome to part 3. We're going to be looking at doing blueprinting here. So this is entitled the role of flowcharting and blueprinting. So Shoestack, and we've talked about Lynn Shoestack before, she developed and popularized blueprinting, and it's still used very much today. So there's 3 basic requirements to develop a blueprint. First of all, you must show the time dimensions. Now, sometimes that can be, in some services, they actually literally write down in there 2 minutes here, 30 seconds here, blah, 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 like we've got in here, right? That's a finely polished blueprint, and it's good to have, and hotels will do that, McDonald's will do that, and other time critical services will do that. But for us, when we start, it's usually a lot rougher than that when we're dealing with approximations in there, and the time gaps will be bigger. But whatever happens, there is a flow-on effect. So even if you don't have the minutes in there, you'll be like, that happens first, and then that happens next in time, and then that happens next in time, right? So now we must identify and handle errors. And this is a beautiful thing about blueprinting. Really what we're looking for is how should the process go, but also where are the critical points, like the failure points. And you go, well, look, there's a key interaction there. That's critical. That might be a failure point, and then you can develop ways to manage that. You can also, when service failures happen, map them out on your blueprint, and then you can say we're getting a lot of failure happening within this specific section of our blueprint, of our flowchart. This is where we need to, so it becomes a visual tool to help us to direct our focus and improve that. And we must define the allowed variation from standard as well. So if you go, it takes here 30 seconds to do that, you give or take 30 seconds. If it takes, if you go, it takes 20 minutes for a haircut, give or take 10 minutes, something like that, all right? It's going to vary for different services, of course. So this is the journal article that's been published in the Harvard Business Review. I recommend you look it up. I'm imagining a lot of you, so this comes under the distribution one. It's going to help us do distribution, but it also comes under the process part of our marketing mix. So this is a double banger in here. So I recommend you look that up and get a feel for what this research is about. Now, this blueprint comes from the textbook, and I want to sort of work our way through it if I can see it properly. So here is blueprinting a full service restaurant experience. Now we've got different elements here. We've got the first one is the timeline, which I've talked about up there. So we need to do this in class. So I want to see your timeline there. Now the next one is the physical evidence, and that's the things such as, like, if someone calls, you need to have a telephone, right? Or if someone drops off their bags and you need to take them to the room, you need that trolley thing that you can hang bags on, stuff like that, right? So all those types of things. So this is a physical evidence line. Now the next line is a key line, so it should be a dark line. It's a bit thin here, but it's a very important line. That's a line of interaction. So this is the difference between what the customer sees and what they don't. Oh no, so that's the line of visibility. So the line of interaction is the interaction between the customer and the staff, but the line of visibility is what they can see and what they can't see. So anything behind this line. So here we've got like all our systems and processes and stuff. The customer can't see that. This is all the stuff that's happening in the background. We've talked about that a little bit before. We talked about front stage and backstage. It's kind of that concept applied to the blueprinting, what we're doing now, the service blueprint. So we've got the front stage here, the line of visibility, the backstage there. We've got the line of interaction where the people interact. Now this line is the line of internal physical interaction. And we've got the line of internal information technology interaction. These are all our databases and stuff that we as marketing people don't really deal that much with, but we've got the IT people running all these systems in the background. So in here, I'm just going to take you through the pictures. Someone rings up, makes a reservation, right? So all these things. So in here, the response time, talk about that, the script for taking the reservation. If we've got a good business, service business, your staff will have a service script. And even I've done that for my own stuff when I've done liaison stuff. I've developed my own service scripts, my own phone scripts to help me in different situations, because you're doing so many phone calls, it just makes it easier, right? So then you'll accept the reservation, confirm the date and time, check the availability, insert the booking, maintain the reservation in the system, and that's where the system happens in the background there. Right. So then once they've made the reservations, then they'll do the valet parking, and then they'll go to the coat room, drop the coats off, have cocktails while they wait for their room to be ready, or move their bags up, stuff like that. I'm not going to go through every single thing here, it's too much. The seating, when they go to the restaurant, and they order their food and wine, and then they get a wine service, then we'll get the food service, then they'll eat their meal, and then they'll get the bill presentation, the bill payment, and then they use the restroom, and then they go to the coat room, and then they review and go to depart. So basically mapped out all the customer steps in there with all the service interactions and the things involved in that. So this is one blueprint. You're going to need to do a blueprint for your service firm, so you can start thinking about how you'd map that out. And this one's over, like, what is that, probably 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different interactions. Some of them get very, very detailed, like zoom right in. But I kind of want to be about this level, about 12, 15. All right, now here's another one. And I've put this one on there just to sort of contrast the difference. We're going to go back a slide now. So the slide that we're on is one blueprint, and go back a slide is another blueprint. They're both blueprints, and they're both acceptable, and they both sort of do much the same thing. You can see the things in common here. We've got the physical evidence in there. But one thing that's not clear in here is the time. It doesn't say time, and it doesn't actually put time intervals in there, but it does flow through in a time sequential order. All right, so the time thing is there, it's just not distinctively noted. Now we've got here the customer actions, which is the same thing. We've got our line of interaction. Yeah, so what the customer does and what we do. So the customer does in this orange box, and then what we do in these blue boxes. We've got the line of visibility, what they can see. We have the line of interaction, of internal interaction, and here we've got our support process, like they call it IT in the other one, but support process, you know, which all these are pretty much support and food preparation. All right, so the key thing in here, like when you look at this, you go, oh, where do I start? You start with the customer action. All right, start here, bang, make a reservation. What does the customer do next? Arrive at the hotel. So this customer interaction is in the main line that we follow through. It's got no arrows through each step, but you kind of should, or it's implicit, right? And then you fill in, so the customer does that, then they do that, then they do that, and then this is what we do. Yeah, so you start on the customer actions line, and then you fill in all the actual details from there. We'll be doing this in the workshop. I'll help you with that. In my experience in the past, it's actually been quite an exciting and enjoyable process. All right, so that concludes for this week's lectures. I look forward to seeing you in the workshops.